Simpson. And Japan have gone absolutely without lead. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ballchat. Greetings, football lovers. Happy New Year. Happy 2023 to the family. Welcome to Ballchat Podcast. My name is Benton, along with the family. Engineer, a.k.a. Junior, a long time in the see you, brethren. How you doing? Happy New Year, family. You stay here?
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Yo, it was a well-needed break, and we're back. And I'm feeling good. Manchester United is Manchester United again, so I feel good.
Junior, too early for the foolishness. Too early for the Manchester United. Too early for the Manchester United. Big up to come on out the road. Big up yourself. Come on, had a meeting to attend. So she's not hiding, Chelsea, anti-Chelsea people. She's not hiding. Come on, had an emergency meeting at the Referees Association. What is it? Some brown envelope things are going on in 2023, Junior.
Yo, something, I don't know, you know. I don't know. Some money laundering, though.
All right, football family, welcome to Ball Chat for the first episode of 2023. We're going to do as we always do. If you're new to the show, welcome. Really appreciate you stopping by. The show is all about reviewing some of the major news in the world of football. If you're always a regular, if you're a regular to the show, big ups, one love forward. Definitely always big up to the regulars, them. Big up to the regulars, them. Hopefully everyone had a safe and a festive holiday spirit. And let's kick it off with some ballers and bugs. Going to do ballers and bugs at the top of the show. Ballers been impressive players of the week. Bugs been unimpressive. Then we're going to take a look at FA Cup action. Boy, Chelsea kinda dark in FA Cup and EPL. We'll take a look at FA Cup football. Take a look at the EPL. As some EPL game took place this week. We'll also discuss the legendary, the one and only Mr. Pelé. He passed away while we were on break, so we're going to get our final thoughts on the legendary, the one and only Pelé. And we'll wrap up with a small yard ballers report, because come on out the road. We'll discuss American football. And just do a whole heap at the end of the day, just a big recap of 2022, our ballers for 2022, and our bucks for 2022. Junior, ballers of the week, family. First baller for 2023. Who do you have, family?
You know, the obvious answer is League 2 side Stevenage for defeating Aston Villa at Aston Villa 2-1 in the FA Cup today. It is simply remarkable. This is the reason why ESPN Plus highlighted this weekend FA Cup action. This round is the round that you always have them games. Those games where you just never see coming. So you definitely have to give it to them. I'm going to give it to Marcus Rashford because Rashford seemed to find a purple patch. So till someone bridging them, I said, foolishness, Rashford is in the top 5 in the world. Not me, but bridging them, I said Rashford is in the top 5 in the world. That's how good
top 5 of what, Junior? Please
top
clarify.
5 footballer. Look, big up Conrad. We can call it him. Conrad says he's in the top 5. I just that. Also, I'm going to Tammy Abraham scoring a stoppage time goal today against Milan to earn the draw for Roma. Roma is 1 draw and 1 win in the new year. Has Jose Mourinho turned it around?
Big up to Reggie. Big up to the Arsenal fan. Reggie, Happy New Year. Bless up yourself, family. See you running in. Send on your ballers and bugs. My ballers of the week, family. I want to give a ball of the week to Alicia Cervantes. Alicia Cervantes plays for Chivas in League Mexico. Scored a stunner from way downtown. What, 40, 50? I don't even know where she kicked the ball from. Way downtown. Was a brilliant goal she scored for Chivas in League Mexico game this week. Alicia Cervantes, big up yourself, gets a ball of the week and she become the third player in the Women's Mexican League to score 100 goals. So big up to Alicia. Big up Alicia Cervantes. And I also want to give a ball of the week to Sheffield Wednesday. Darren Moore's Sheffield Wednesday. Want to say it again? Darren Moore's Sheffield Wednesday. How many jobs did he get fired from?
Jamaican Darren Moore.
So Darren Moore and Sheffield Wednesday, big up in yourself for upset of big money, big spending Newcastle in the FA Cup. Big up to Darren Moore. We know he had some issues, health scares during the COVID fiasco. So it's great to see him back on the sideline, and it's also great for him to upset the big money side Newcastle. So Darren Moore and Sheffield Wednesday get a ball off the week. And a ball off the week for me, Juventus. 8 games winning streak on the trot. Big up yourself, Juventus. Who would have thought Maximiliano Allegri would have done that? So big up yourself, as Juventus is running very, very close to the top in the Scudetto. Big up yourself.
You never think Allegri would have turned it around?
I never thought it.
Okay.
I never thought. So ballers, Reggie said he got Stevenage and Wrexham for some upset in the FA Cup wins. Ball of the week, Stevenage.
Hold on. More beat register, because is Wrexham beating Coventry really an upset? Because Wrexham have Ryan Reynolds money and have Ryan Reynolds hype. So yes, in terms of league play, yes, it's an upset. But Wrexham FC definitely have Ryan Reynolds seem to have them going in the right direction.
Yeah, but on a non-league side, it's patty shop. Well, I wouldn't say patty shop, but
fish and chips.
It's fish and chips side. I mean, they're not supposed to beat Coventry. So, big up. Bugs of the week, family. Who do you have? Family? Unimpressive players of the week, Junior. Who do you have? I guess we all can just check the box and say Chelsea and just get the bug of the week.
Yes.
Let's just get Chelsea the bug of the week out of the way, so we can put that one around a corner.
I did not necessarily. But also off a beat. Oh, wrong choice of words. I'm sorry. Ladies, I'm sorry. I won't do what Claudio Reyna refused to do. But Reyna wife, what you doing? This US soccer fiasco. Yo, let me tell you something. You know it is bad. It is terrible. When I expect Ricketts, JFF president, to give some statement on behalf of CONCACAF about the state of US Soccer Federation. What kind of, that's not patty shop. That's not a burger shop. And a McDonald's. We don't know what to call it. But what we could have called a shop the way US Soccer Federation is? Let's talk about it. But US Soccer Federation definitely get my bug of the week. Chelsea, of course. I'm going to tell you guys why I don't blame Graham Potter later on. So keep it locked.
Yeah, we'll keep it. So you got Chelsea and the Claudia Reyna's wife is Danielle Egan Reyna, former international player. So get the names right, brother. Get the names right. It's too early.
Yeah.
We want to keep the new listeners.
No, hold on. No, Benton, my mother listened, my father, big up my parents. I am not advocating for violence against women. But you hear what I'm saying? It's a pun on words. It's a play on words. So let me say it again so Benton can catch it. People, I'm going to say it again. Precursor, I am not advocating. It's a joke.
Well, don't say it. If you have to say a precursor,
I have to say it. I have to say it. I don't want to do what Claudio Reyna, Gio Reyna's father, did not do to his mother, Gio Reyna's mother, for starting this chaos in the US Soccer Federation. Now leave it at that.
All right, leave it at that. Leave it at that. And football family, I forgot to mention this new Ballers and Bugs images segment up. We're highlighting some ballers. Messi, of course, the general, Kili Mbappe, and Sam Kerr and Alexia Putellas. Ballers. I know the Cristiano Ronaldo fans are pretty ticked off that Cristiano Ronaldo is not up there as a baller, but it's a new Ballers and Bugs segment highlight.
Oh, Alisson. I forget Alisson that bug too. Jesus, I forget about Alisson.
What,
Liverpool goalkeeper.
Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson. Brazil's number one.
My gosh, 2 idiot goal man give up.
All right, big up. All right, Ballers and Bugs, big vibes, Rablock, big up yourself. Happy New Year, family. Vibes Rablock said Bala Pedri. Barcelona defeated Atletico Madrid. Well, Atletico Madrid, boy, it's like some games already decided before they show up to play. if I mean, it's the same thing. Yo, all right. Ball of the week for Vibes Rablock is Pedri and Bug Jordan Henderson. Big up to the family. New listeners, we're in the Ballers and Bugs segment where we highlight impressive players of the week, Ballers, and unimpressive players of the week, Bugs. So Junior, you have Claudia Reyna and the Wolf wife, Daniel Egan Reyna, Fiasco, and you also have, who else has you?
Chelsea and Alisson.
And all right. And my Bugs are Bug. Just going to squeeze it to Everton and Frank Lampard. It's just foolishness. You can't get run off the field by what? Brighton? Brighton beat the brakes off of them in the midweek. There's no, I mean, Frank Lampard, get yourself together, brother. You coach at Derby, you coach at Chelsea. Now you have Everton job. There has to be some learning on. You have to learn something. We're not seeing any learning occurring here. So you get the bug of the week, brother. Not occurring. All right, so now you keep your Ballers and Bugs running in. Let's get to our football recap and start off with the FA Cup, family. We're just going to go through the PSs and kick it off with the FA Cup and work our way back to the EPL, some EPL news that took place. FA Cup results that took place over the weekend. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games. I mean, and ultimately, the big result from Saturday, Junior, was probably this Sheffield Wednesday over Newcastle victory.
Sheffield over Newcastle
was probably the biggest upset on Saturday. I mean,
no.
Which other one you want to highlight?
Stevenson over Aston Villa.
That's today, right?
Yeah, also it's a fun Saturday.
From Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, yeah, definitely.
As it pertains to Liverpool and the 2-2 draw with Wolves, I mean, do you have anything to say about that one there?
Yeah, I have a lot to say, but when we talk about coaches, I'm going to tie Grandpa tight to it.
Why? I mean, Wolves coach Julian Lopetegui felt like either VAR was a bit unfriendly unkind to them. You have any? I mean,
no. All right. Lopetegui, shut the hell up. Just be happy that you draw the game and you're getting a replay. But Alisson was poor, like poor. He gave the first goal. I don't know how he never see the yellow shirt in front time when he passed it to homeboy. And the second goal, after giving up the first goal, you cannot have a lax in concentration in giving up the second goal. So Alisson, it really falls at his feet. But I think we've seen this picture many times with Liverpool. And I have to start questioning Jurgen Klopp. And there is something to be said about the time limit for Klopp at a club. I think, 3 years or 4 years or something like that? The same thing happened at Dortmund, the same thing happened at Liverpool. So is it that he doesn't know how to move on from certain players, or is it that the message is getting a little bit old or a little bit tired? Because to me, Liverpool was obviously the better team, but they just had lapses in concentration and moments of clouded judgment.
Yeah, they're trying to sustain something. Big up Heraldo Hiens. Heraldo says Chelsea bug over everything. We'll get to Chelsea and their bug over everything. We definitely put that bug in the corner regarding Chelsea. But yeah, Liverpool is trying to figure out a way to get on a good run and stay. And of course, they're defending champions for the FA Cup. Cody Gakpo made his debut after the big transfer. After Liverpool sneaked that one from out of Manchester United grass.
I don't think they did.
Thoughts, man, just ease, because everybody and their mother did say Cody I go Manchester United.
No,
Cody,
I don't.
Cody even said he likes the club, he blah, 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 and things just pivot. All right, so don't try to say Manchester United wasn't up front. Ten Hag wanted the player. Is that accurate?
Ten Hag reportedly wanted the player,
All right.
but Manchester United traditionally do not make big January transfers, one. And two, they did come out and say they were broke. Now, don't get me wrong. I wanted Gakpo at Manchester United. But not a bad mind the move. But reality is reality. That Gakpo really wasn't in the picture for Man U in January. That's just the truth. Now, does Liverpool need Gakpo? I don't think Liverpool need Gakpo either. Because is Gakpo going to play the number 9? Why are you bringing in another winger? That's how I know Manchester United never needed Gakpo. Why am I bringing in another winger? We have Garnacho, we have Sancho, we have Rashford, we have Bruno, we have Van der. There's so many players. Liverpool, to me, needed a number 9.
All right. The man bringing Garnacho. Oh, look at wet behind the ears baller who's still a hurricane.
Ilanga. Pelé had a good World Cup. He's still there, Man U. We don't need no more winger.
Your thoughts on Cody's debut yesterday for Liverpool?
Too early.
But I mean,
but I will pass judgment. It's too early. Too early. We'll see. But my only concern is, can he play as the number 9? Because we see Gakpo deployed as a right winger in the World Cup. And we never see him go down the middle.
We don't see him go down. I mean, and we'll see. I mean, so why can't they focus on Nunes going down the middle?
Because you put Nunes down the middle, somehow he might end up on the left, on the right, him just can't stay straight. Him just can't score. So when I put somebody down the middle, we're going to end up slanted.
I said Nunes. All right. Sheffield Wednesday defeated Newcastle 2-1, another big result. Any thoughts on this one, family? I mean, and the reason why I brought this up, I want to highlight this. Newcastle is definitely punching above their weight in the EPL. They have a lot of investments, a lot of money being injected into the club. And I mean, with the hype and the level of play and the level of consistency they have shown in the EPL, I would have expected them to try to make a run at winning one of these trophies. Not the EPL. The FA Cup was the next thing that was closest to them. Because them now with nothing else.
All right. So there's another trophy there in the running for an unofficial trophy, the top 4 trophy.
Top 4 and a trophy, brother. You're not getting a trophy that.
The money where you get is better than the FA Cup money, though, don't it?
All right.
So if you
it's
invest,
better than it.
Yeah, so if you invest a bag of money in the side, you want returns on it. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not. If I was a Newcastle fan, like homeboy from Two West Challenge, I would feel kind of some sort of way to lose to Sheffield Wednesday. But you lose the battle, but the real war is finishing in the top 4. And that to me is the bigger priority. We know Sheffield not beating Man City in the FA Cup. We know, Newcastle not beating Man City in the FA Cup. We know Newcastle can beat Arsenal. And the way our Man U is playing, it's going to be a push to beat Man U in the FA Cup. So they're not winning the FA Cup.
Ball round, Junior, ball round. If Stephen Edge can beat Aston Villa, ball round.
All right, but the ball, you need the ball to be round 4 straight times. and versus continue punching above your weight, beat who you're supposed to beat, challenge versus teams where you're supposed to challenge, and try to cross the line in the top 4 and get Champions League football at Toonside or Tyneside next year. That is the priority. Yeah, yes, it hurt. If I was a Newcastle fan, it hurt. But we have bigger fish to fry.
Bigger fish to fry. Barracuda fish you have to fry. Geraldo here says Lopetegui a good coach, and if given a chance, he will shine.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, we will see. All right. Top big match in the FA Cup. What was built as a big match in the FA Cup? few weeks ago turned out to be a easy early Sunday morning thing. Man City beat the bricks of Chelsea. Why them couldn't give them 6.
They could have.
Junior, yeah, I mean, what do you make of this? I mean, I think we all expected them to lose. Chelsea, that is. I mean,
No.
you didn't expect them to lose or lose in that manner?
After the midweek game, no.
No.
Honestly, after the midweek game, I expected some form of a reaction, right? But I gave a big tease earlier about, I'm going to tell you guys why Graham Potter is not at fault. Real quick, when in the Premier League or any club team, when you have a new coach that come in, look over the last year, the high-profile coaches. When we talk about Ole coming in, when we talk about, I'm talking about high-profile story coaches that are stories everybody care about. When Arteta took over at Arsenal, when Klopp took over at Liverpool, when David Moyes took over at Manchester United, look at the difference in how all of these coaches approached building the side, right? If we are honest with ourselves, Graham Potter got a Chelsea side at the time when Chelsea was seen as probably the second best team in Europe. If we really think about it, Chelsea was supposed to be the second best team in Europe, and that would have been a disrespected honor because they were coming off a Champions League victory 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, right? And look at what happened to Chelsea now. But brought up Arteta, I brought up David Moyes. When David Moyes took over at Man U, David Moyes had the bright idea that he could move on from everybody at Manchester United and build him own side. And that was to his demise, right? When Arteta took over at Arsenal, he moved on from who he needed to move on to. But remember that first year, everybody was saying how Arsenal was down to skin and bones, and Arteta played the players that he trusted. And those are the same players that he's playing now, but he added pieces at key parts and then fat up the squad, right? When Potter took over at Chelsea, I can imagine that conversation in the interview. All right, Graham, Tuchel had Chelsea. We won the Champions League, but we don't like the way we're playing football. We want Cristiano Ronaldo because Cristiano Ronaldo going to sell jerseys. And we want to play pretty football. Can you do that for us? And Graham Potter said, yeah, you hire me right now, but get rid of blah, 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 blah. And then run down a list of names. And then say, get rid of them Monday, and we will win, right? To me, that was the biggest risk he took. Look at the successful coaches that come in the league. They don't just jump in and make wholesale changes. Pep played with Yaya after Yaya called him racist. Played Yaya till Yaya wheels fell off and then move on from Yaya and build him side. I think that's Graham Potter's biggest mistake. He tried to make changes too quick, and you're still relying on the players then when you want change. Man, them not race you again.
Yeah, but
I think that is Chelsea's problem.
I mean, I see it a little bit differently. And I don't know if Graham Potter is the guy. I want to make that abundantly clear. He got, a 5 years contract at Chelsea. They gave Brighton a nice package to get to prime away from Brighton for Chelsea. So I don't know if Graham Potter is the guy. A full disclosure. So I just want to get that out of the way. But he has not, one of the things is that he has not had a transfer window yet. He's going through the first transfer window in this month, right? January. Because he took over after Tuchel's window closed. Because Tuchel oversaw Fofana, oversaw Koulibaly, Cucurella. Tuchel oversaw the last transfer window, and he wasn't given time to really flex his muscle, The team continued to lose, and the man them say, y'all go on the road. All right? So, but Grant and Aubameyang, Graham Potter knew what he was getting himself into. So he knew that these are not necessarily his ideal players that he would like to work with, but he knew the squad coming in. What I'm seeing from a Chelsea outfit now is the same foolishness that Tuchel was implementing and utilizing. Kai Havertz, for example, has been mediocre for the last 10 months, or probably even longer than that, and Kai Havertz continues to play no matter who is the coach. So I don't know if Kai Havertz has a clause in his contract that he needs to play a certain amount of minutes, but it's unbelievable to me that Kai Havertz can be so bad and so ineffective, and yet there is not even a under 23 striker. It's not even somebody in the Bush League that you cannot forward to play. Those are the fundamental issues that I have with Graham Potter, is the inability to say, you know what, I don't care what your name is now, brother. If you're not performing, go on bench. I see a lot of similarities here with David Moyes at Manchester United.
Yes.
I see a lot of similarities with him. You brought up David Moyes. And some of the similarities is that you have to make those tough decisions, and you just have to bench a man, and he's not doing that, and so you can't fire him. So all the Chelsea fans who are talking about sack, I mean, I guess we will say, I guess you could fire him, but you cannot fire him now, right? Because you has not have a transfer window. His first transfer is the Fofana number 2. David Docho Fofana from is it Monaco that they signed, and they signed another. So they've signed a couple players this transfer window. But what is abundantly clear is that Todd and the Carly group that owns Chelsea now, they want to go younger because they have made some moves in the young department. They've signed Omari Hutchinson from Arsenal. They signed a couple kids from Italy and a couple bright prospects. So those young kids, they signed Andre Santos from Vasco da Gama in Brazil. So those young kids, at some point, you're just going to have to say, Graham Potter, I just have to say, just run out the young kids and forget the foolishness. And ultimately, that's where his determination will be. That is going to be the telltale of his story at Chelsea. Because the current team is just a bunch of bugs.
I agree 100% with you. And I just have one question, though.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But why is Kepa redeployed in goal?
Why is Kepa still in goal?
Why was he deployed in goal? Why Kepa in goal? I think changing to Kepa with Kepa's history, I think that sent shockwaves down the spine of the Chelsea squad, because this is the same brother who refused to come off the field in front with him coach in what was that, Champions League in the penalty shootout or whatever.
That was sorry in the but remember now, Mendy was making, and Mendy is also injured. You know, so the injuries haven't helped them, because they have a laundry list of players that's on injured, from Reece James, Raheem Sterling, N'Golo Kante, who's probably their most critical player. N'Golo Kante is injured. I mean, so them have a laundry list of injured players. Now, and Mendy is also injured. So you go to your high-priced goalkeeper. I mean, Kepa, I mean, why you have $72 million goalkeeper, you can't play him junior? Why not? And remember now, under Tuchel, Mendy was making some errors. You remember that game? I think it was against Aston Villa. I don't remember the opponent. He spilled the ball, and then talk about him get fouled, and it's just the same thing. So those things, but it's once a decision has been made, and if the errors start to creep in with Kepa, then you have to move on to the next goalkeeper, because you have to hold people accountable.
Big up Bridget Arville. Yeah, you're right. Big up Arville said Chelsea is my team, but the team is a joke. No identity. You watch the game hoping they do something, hit and miss business, mediocrity. He doesn't seem to have the pedigree for a big team like Chelsea. No matter what, the team should be doing better.
And that might be right. I'm I don't dispute that he might not be the guy. And like I always say, and I've said this before and I will say it again, I endorse the sacking of Thomas Tuchel when they sacked him. I mean, they had a different idea, different vision, different way to look at things between him and the new owners. And that's how it go. Then move on. Graham Potter now is he the guy? We will see. Definitely the team look toothless. But to be fair to him, his record is what? 25 games total, 13 victories. I think is what? 5 draws and 7 losses. So, you know, it looked bad, but it's not the end of the world. The important thing for Chelsea fans, I would say, just, you know, go and drink some rum and easy, because it's going to be a rough ride. Because it could get worse. It could get worse.
Yeah.
So you see similarities with David Moyes, but you wouldn't sack him. Would you sack him? No. How much longer would you give him?
I mean, the question is, because firing Potter is the easy answer, but the question is, who would you replace him with? And Pochettino is still out there. We also hear Zidane not being France with Deschamps extending his stay at France. Maybe Chelsea could be the perfect landing spot for Zidane. You never know. So the question is Chelsea's reputation tarnished enough to ward off a Pochettino and Zidane? If so, then you have to stick it out. If not, I'm pulling the trigger right now.
Yeah. And what is abundantly clear now, the model that this ownership, Carl Lake ownership group, and led by Todd Bowley and Ed El Baghdadi, is that they are looking to try to build young players. They've recruited a lot of young talents, and they believe that Graham Potter is the guy with his work at whatever Aston and his work at Brighton can be instrumental in making sure those young players get valuable minutes and get developed. So if you go for Zidane or Pochettino, can you still commit to that strategy?
For Pochettino, yes. If you give Pochettino manager side at Tottenham, who went 3 years without a transfer or something like that, a significant transfer. So for Pochettino, this is ideal. This is ideal situation where you can tell him, say, yo, I give you some money, you know, bring in any baller you want, and just have to be under 25. So, it might not work for Zidane, but I think it will work for Pochettino.
But you're gonna go with a man who not gonna win nothing. Pochettino gonna play some good ball, but he's not gonna win nothing.
So what are we losing? How is Potter any different?
Because at the end of the day, you've made a bet and an investment. 5 years you gave him, you know, because if you sack him now, you have to pay out his contract, you know. 5 years you gave him. If you sack him, you're saying that, bruh, we can't work with this, brother. So now the youth system is just something that we can't work with no more.
Well, I don't know what his salary is, but at this rate, all right. So let's say Chelsea go the Renaissance route and so we're going to rebuild the side with some young players, right? Then forget about Champions League this year. Forget about Champions League next year. Unless you have some real wonder kids come up. So you're looking at probably 2 years without Champions League money. I don't know how much Graham Potter's salary is in 5 years, you know, but I am willing to bet it's not past one Champions League season money. So if me can bring in a coach and ensure me get my Champions League money this year, we can pay off your 5 years and tell you to go on with your business. I'm going to play Champions League every year because you can't want to bring in somebody to develop young players, fine. But if the older players don't respect him or won't play for him, that's a problem. And you want to bring in some young players when them go up against Pep, they must be starstruck. No, you want the old great tone man to go down and play some ball. So there has to be some balance. I think Potter doesn't have the respect of the locker room. I really do. And after losing to Man City 1-0 in the Premier League midweek, after throwing in the towel halfway through the first half, only down 1-0, the man makes some changes and put in, be a young boy. Yeah. And you come out 3 days later, 4 days later, and lay an egg like this? No,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, you forgot. I mean, according to some reports, his salary is £10 million annually. So that's his salary. So I mean,
I just
watch the
50 million.
space. Yeah.
So just 50 million pound.
Just £50 million. Watch the space. Chelsea fans just go and hold the corner easy because it's gonna be a rough ride. But that's in a nutshell for the FA Cup. The next round of matches took place. So let's take a look at the EPL results. You had something to say, Junior. You were looking up some results, something regarding Potter.
I'm just looking at qualification for Champions League is worth 3.5 million.
Okay, so you're doing the numbers.
Doing the numbers.
Doing the numbers. All right, let's pivot from Chelsea versus Manchester City. I mean, the FA Cup, to taking a look at some EPL results that took place in midweek. Of course, Chelsea lost to Man City again. Southampton defeated Nottingham Forest, Leeds, West Ham 2-2, Aston Villa 1-1 with Wolves, Spurs, Crystal Palace on Wednesday. Spurs beat the brakes off Crystal Palace. Junior, any results over the festive period that stood out for you? I know your Manchester United team seems to be looking good.
You see that Spurs 4-0 victory over Crystal Palace is alarming. And the reason why is Crystal Palace, while they are not a contender for top 4 or anything serious, they never really get beat up like this before, right? Brentford beating the brakes off Liverpool. That I've seen that story before with Liverpool. That's why it don't really shock me. But I honestly was shocked with what Tottenham did to Crystal Palace. I actually expected better from Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Tottenham wasn't really looking that hot coming in.
Yeah, because Tottenham lost the previous game to Aston Villa 2-0. So Aston Villa, I mean, I don't even know what to say at Tottenham. Tottenham is Tottenham. We'll watch the space regarding Mr. Conte and what's going on over there. The table family at the FA Cup break. Just looking at the table, the FA Cup, the EPL table, and where things are. Arsenal still sitting on top, family, 44 points. Man City, 39 points in second place. Southampton, way down the bottom on 12 points. 5 games losing streak for Southampton. Junior, Chelsea in the middle of the pack, 10. 25 points. Your thoughts? Wolves and Lopetegui in the drop zone at match day 18. Junior, will Lopetegui get this team out of this relegation zone, family?
Yeah, but the two teams that should be, one team should be raising some alarm bells is West Ham. You have to say what the hell is going on at West Ham, right? And as with all the money spent on Nottingham Forest, them still keep them head above water, right? Them two teams surprising to me. I would expect Nottingham Forest to be way down a gully. But West Ham, to me, is a team that you have to sit down and say, what is really going on?
And do you attribute that to coaching?
That's an easy call. But Antonio has fallen off. Not because with Jamaica, I'm run my joke them all the time. But ever since Antonio started playing for Jamaica, he has not done anything for West Ham. Nothing at all. Right? So, and they were heavily dependent on Antonio. And it shows
so they went
how
out,
much.
So they went out in the summer, right? And secured the services of Scamacca, who was outstanding for what? Fiorentina. Scored a bag of goals. I know he's in the EPL, it's a different league. They also went out and got Paqueta. And I watch West Ham play, Junior, and And I don't think that the coach is ready. I don't think and the reason why the team has talented players, you know, and you know the Skamaka and Paqueta transfer kind of epitomize the talent pool that they have. There's no way West Ham's supposed to be 17 in this league, below Leeds, below Leicester, below Crystal Palace. There's no way. Brentford. I mean, what I saw from West Ham in the last game or last few games is that once the first strategy is to try to find the striker long. If it don't work, then we try to see if we can bully some football. Send Antonio if we can play a bully football and see if we can get a goal. I mean, and then if Antonio now work, let's send on Yarmolenko, see if we can get some bully football or the other tall brother. It's just David Moyes for do better, brother. A long time my coach, him for do better.
But that's the problem. He's been coaching too long. That his style is archaic and he hasn't evolved. It looked the same way. Like about what Barnes from what name? Leighton Beans and them man for Everton. They're just no.
Leighton Beans and the entire foolishness.
And Moped.
Mariano Fellini.
Fellaini, yeah, he's the same football and playing. So no. So yes, I agree with you. No, that you have convinced me. His coaching is a problem. Yeah.
Looking at this table, family, January 8th, I mean, we're a little bit pushing up close to the midway. What is 38 games? So game 19 will be midway in the thing. I saw a bet recently. I think it was Steve Nicol and another host at ESPN bet 50 pounds that Arsenal won't finish in the top 4. You expect Arsenal to finish in the top 4 here, family? You don't expect this to drop out.
The next 2 fixtures is going to be telling, because Spurs can't catch Arsenal, Liverpool can't catch Arsenal, Newcastle cannot catch Arsenal, right? Not because I'm a Man U fan. Man U can catch Arsenal. But the next 2 fixtures is going to be telling. Obviously, Man City is hot on Arsenal's trail. I don't care, it's only 5 points. But Man City is very hot on them tail. But I'm telling you guys this right now. Man U is going to make a serious push. I never see it coming. I'm shocked that I'm even saying it. But the next 2 fixtures are going to be telling. And also Newcastle can slip, trip, fall, and maintain momentum based on the results of the next 2 games. Because Arsenal plays Tottenham and Man U next. Man City play Man U and Tottenham next, right?
Let me get the fixture. I'm pulling it up here.
And I'm pretty sure that's it. So Newcastle,
the Manchester derby is Saturday, January 1st.
Saturday, and then play Arsenal away at Arsenal. So hypothetically speaking, if Man U beat Man City this Saturday, all Arsenal have to do is take care of Man U at them house the following week, and them good, assuming them take care of Tottenham, right? Hypothetically speaking, if Tottenham beat Arsenal, all them have to do is draw or stem the tide with Man City in the next game, and then they are in the running for top 4. Yeah. So there's so much that can happen in those 4 games. Now, ideally for Man City, if Man City beat Man U Saturday, which they should, if Man City beat Man U Saturday, I hope that Man U have a revenge game against Arsenal
on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, and Man City take care of Tottenham like they should. Then Man City can be up 2 points behind Arsenal, right? But this is the other key thing that I heard this stat. It's not my stat. I heard this from United Stats. I will give United Stats credit. Of all the top 6 teams, Man U has played the most games against the top 6 contenders amongst themselves before the first half of the season, which means that the second half of the season is against teams that they should be favored against, assuming that they don't have any injuries. That's why I'm saying look out for Man U, because they can go on a very hot run.
Yeah.
It all depends on the next 2 games.
Yeah. Arsenal plays Tottenham on Sunday. Next Sunday, January 15th. And like you said, they'll play Manchester United on the 22nd. Of course, they have a FA Cup game tomorrow against Oxford. So, big games coming up for Arsenal, family. Big games coming up. Big games coming up. So, EPL again, Arsenal sitting on top, 44 points. Southampton down bottom, 20th on 12 points. Go on, good luck to Southampton and the rest of the family. Any final thoughts on the EPL table, family? Chelsea middle of the pack, Crystal Palace at 12, Aston Villa sitting at 11. Lopetegui has work to do with Wolves. Would you let go Mr. Frank Lampard at Everton, family?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But
All right.
my final thought, though, is there's a lot of landmines to come.
There are
in the final part. Big up Just Soldier, but Bridging, selector extraordinaire Just Soldier, Arsenal fan. Hey, Just Soldier, you should forward on the show one time. I'll link you off it.
All right, stepping away from the EPL family and just have to, the legendary Long Live the King, the one Mr. Nascimento went on home, family, while we were away, 1940 to 2002, 82 years old. Junior, 3 World Cup titles, brother. This man has left an indelible mark, the one and only Pelé. Your thoughts, on, we reported on Pelé's sickness while we did our last show because he was moved to palliative care, and the news broke. Junior, there's not much to say about this man. I think it's all been said, but big up for Pelé.
The greatest striker ever. And now heaven, the gods have the greatest striker ever joining the greatest midfielder ever. In Diego. Imagine that the football game.
It's gonna be a very good football game. Big football game. Just to highlight some of the accomplishments. Copa Libertadores titles 62-63, Intercontinental Cup 62-63. And this was, and something that is very important. We want to teach youths them of today, the ball youths them, because we love the game. Back in the 50s, back in the 60s, and it's not, you have these world tours. You didn't have a regular FIFA Club World Cup that these teams from different parts of the world would contest. And so you have tours. And so Pelé and Santos, which was the big side back then, would do tours. And then they will take on the big side in Europe and then drop them belly. So I remember reading Pelé's story. I reading about him from primary school days. So the man are just legendary. I
love how you pretty it up, because you have a lot of idiots out there who want to say, he didn't win any European titles. He didn't play in Europe. He didn't win the Ballon d'Or. All kind of foolishness. Doing the history, people. The Ballon d'Or wasn't given to non-Europeans at the time. There wasn't no big extradition from South America to go play in Europe at the time. Even with Diego Maradona, it wasn't done primarily at the time. And there's a reason why when people go play against Brazil at the time, they came there and got lessons. This brother is the greatest ever, one of the greatest ever. He's high up on the totem pole. It's only idiots out there that want to have crazy conversations that would want to throw dirt on him name. I have no problem with people saying anybody else is the greatest ever. Just don't try to down this man's name to hype up your guy's name.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all I have to say.
Yeah, man. Top scorer in the Palesta from 57, 58, 59, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 69, 73. Pelé scored a bag of goals, brother. A bag of goals. I think the total number is what? 1,200 and something. I think it's 1,200. I don't have the exact number here. You know, FIFA Centennial Award in 2024. I mean, BBC Purse Sports now. I mean, yo, of course, won the World Cup at 17. The only person to have what? 3 other things there. So
To win 3 World Cup, yeah. And that record probably will never be broken.
never.
Mbappe had a chance to at least tie it. But that record probably will never be broken.
Voted the greatest player of the 20th century by World Soccer in 1999. At least of a century by Reuters in I mean, the one and only. What good, brother. What good. You know, what good. The indomitable, the man himself. And you know, as youth who play this game, I mean, it's always imperative and great to see somebody that look like us, look like me, even though I'm kind of bleach out, who, you know, who look like me excel on the top scale. And Edson Arantes do Nascimento Pelé was that player for a lot of youths growing up. A black man that doing big things. So big up to Pelé. Thank you, boss. Junior, before we go on, we have to do one look a quick talk about Jamaican football, you know. Because we have to do Yard Ballers report and we're about to go over we had first show for the year. Just quickly, some Yard Ballers news. Bonnie Shaw ended the year the second leading goal scorer in the Women's League over there in England. And you know what, while we had it, Ballers are the 2022 thing for your family. Who do you hand out and give an award to? Your biggest baller of 2022. Club, coach, and player. Our team.
It have to be Messi, it have to be Argentina.
Messi and Argentina, your ballers at 2022.
I never see them having that type of World Cup. Club have to be Real Madrid, and coach definitely have to be the mafia man of Real Madrid.
Carlo
Ancelotti.
Big up to the boss. I think most of us are share the sentiments and saying that, you know, Argentina gets the ball of the year as a team for winning the World Cup. More squeezing the Reggae Girls get a ball of the year award too, because with all the turmoil and the Vinbley and Casa, and they made it to a consecutive World Cup. I have to give the team a ball of the year, man. Big up to myself, to the Reggae Girls.
And the coach too. And the coach.
Fantastic. Yeah, and you know what? I want to slide in Coach Vin and / Coach Lorne Donaldson, give them a ball of the year. I mean, the circumstances, you know, each individual didn't dictate their circumstances, but they stepped into it. Vin or Lorne at the latter end, and them just said, boy, we'll work with what we have and make this thing successful. So big up to those two.
And I'm going to add to it too, the Reggae Girls Foundation. And everybody who is behind the Reggae Girls Foundation will have to give them a ball of the year as well, because so many times this train could have derailed, right? This train to Australia could have derailed so many times. And we saw where Sidela Marley and company, and even the president, I apologize if I'm forgetting the name right now, but the president that we had on the show for the Reggae Girls Foundation, they are a model of how Mr. Delicom, and my apologies, my lady, but we really love the way how they showed a model of keeping an organization with their eyes on the prize, in the eyes of during some of the body storm, but we sit down and chronicled, right? And there are even stuff out there that we are aware of that we don't even talk about on the show that happened. And it's just hats off to them. So the whole Reggae Girls Foundation.
Ball off the year.
Yeah.
Ball off 22, 2020. We're just kicking it around, family, as we get ready for going yard. First show of 2023. For new listeners, big up yourself. Welcome. This is Ballchat. Consider subscribe or smash a like button, or if you don't like the content, just let us know. Junior, Bugs at 2022, family. Who do you have, family? Who do you have? Biggest disappointment as a player in 2022, biggest disappointment as a coach in 2022, and biggest team disappointment in 2022.
All right, for player, it has to be Cristiano Ronaldo. And the circumstances surrounding him. He has that aged gracefully, right? And I understand what went on with his daughter, for untimely death of his daughter, and that affected him at the start of the season. And it's not in my right to say, well, push that aside and blah blah blah. And football is just a game, right? Me understand all of that, but the way you carry yourself publicly, regardless, is also important, right? So that was very disappointing. As a team, dirty Brazil, man. Big dirty stinking Brazil.
And as a coach, who you got?
But I think that worry about coach. Those dirty stinking Brazil.
All right, so those are your bugs for 2022. My bug as a team is Barcelona, Football Club Barcelona. Football Club Barcelona. How many levers, how many future team studio deals, studio rights, loan, sold, whatever, borrowed money, I can't keep up. And to get eliminated from the Champions League in the way they did to Inter Milan, to now play in the Europa League, to spend all this money on what? Lewandowski, keep all these transfers in, and you're still playing the second division European competition. So Barcelona, biggest bug team of the year. It's baffling how you sacrifice the future to win this trophy, and yet you still end up not winning it. So big bug of the year for me. And I mean, I will say that the coach, who's probably the bug of the year, is the one, Mr. Greg Berhalter.
Yo, I was thinking about it, too.
It's the one, Mr. Greg Berhalter. And football family, we haven't really touched this Greg Berhalter thing, but we're going to touch it right now, family. And it's just a segue. And the reason why I gave him the bug of the year as a coach, the World Cup is over. You concluded, whatever issues you've had with Gio Reyna, etc. Just go on a yard. But the decision to then do that conference, that leadership conference, where he spoke about, the player, a certain player was essentially disruptive to the group, and they had a vote as a team, put a vote as a team, and the team voted 13-12 to keep the player. Greg, a bug move that. You are going to your leadership conference, you had no right to bring up this info. Just go on, talk about leadership and ignore them thing there. So you get the bug of the year from him, man. Greg Berhalter gets the bug of the year. It's just a mess. And Junior, before we go on, we can't go on without saying something about this soap opera that is U.S. men's soccer's coaching fiasco.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Reyna family pushing their levers and to steal a Barcelona term, employing the use of a lever to try to oust Greg Berhalter. One thing that this should show is how important being a part of the organization is when hosting the World Cup. Because if the US wasn't hosting the next World Cup, Greg Berhalter will not take for himself already, When I probably resign right after the World Cup, say we had a good run, time for give somebody else a chance, and blah, blah, blah. And we'll never hear about his Gio Reyna story. We'll never hear about him abusing his wife. But because he wants to stay on for the next cycle and don't want to give up the golden goose, in them fighting for this power struggle right now, I think it's a desperate move by the Reyna family, but they are connected. Ernest Stewart and company is high up, and they obviously have a good old boys club. So maybe them already have a coach in mind what them want to support, and the decision has already been made in the backside. It's just now to bring everything to light so that they can get the court of public opinion against Craig, so that we can just ship him out and bring in somebody else. It's a tough play, it's a tough sell, because I think the powers to be is going to say, no, just like we did in 1994, we want to really try to win this World Cup. And we can't start our campaign like this. So I think all the parties at risk are at risk of getting flushed out the system in an attempt to really build a real momentum going into the next World Cup.
Yeah, to update football family, U.S. Soccer has hired an outside law firm to do an investigation, to investigate, I can't remember who spoke at the press conference, Ernie Stewart, and there was another spokesman along with President Cohen spoke at the presser on Thursday or Friday. And they hired a law firm, an outside law firm, to do this investigation surround some of the allegations that have been leveled against Greg, and not just the allegations that were brought forth by Daniel Egan Reyna, Claudia Reyna's spouse, but also allegations of Greg's interaction with the staff and personnel, etc. So I will say this, Junior. This reeks of nepotism, and the nepotism that has gotten somebody to a place with minimal successes, who have gotten a great prize with minimal successes. Because when they were reviewing or hiring coaches, Greg Berhalter was probably the last person that many followers of this team thought would have gotten the job. He did a mediocre job at Columbus Crew, had a 39% winning percentage. He did a mediocre job at a previous club in Europe, I think Sweden. And there were other candidates that were just as good. But what was hugely beneficial to him, his brother Jay was high up in the organization, and his friend Ernie Stewart was part of the sporting directorship. So it's nepotism. It's one thing to get help, to get a position. But when you're not good enough and got the position, because if Greg Berhalter looked a certain other way, he wouldn't have gotten that interview. Let's just be clear. If Greg Berhalter was in a minority group, and he wouldn't have gotten that interview with those numbers, with 39% winning record, etc. So he got the interview because of his network, because of the people that he surrounds himself with. I know the same people that who didn't bite him when he got the job. No, as the one who's helping to bring him down because of the ways he treated their son. So, I have to laugh. Reggie says, are these U.S. Soccer Federation shenanigans a sign that this is why they are not amongst the best? This whole pay-for-play weekend club style, all run by good old boys club.
100%.
100%, Reggie. Our kids played in this system, and we know it. It's all about who you know, and all start a bangarang and play for player foolishness. So, and Greg Berhalter did another conference this week with Harvard, or last, what I read off a chat. And he did say abundantly clear that he wants to continue in the role. His contract ended December 31st, so he says he wants to continue in the role as U.S. men's national team coach. Junior, put on your U.S. men's national team, U.S. Soccer Federation leadership hat. Would you keep him on, Junior?
Just like with a grandpa question, it's easy to say fire him, but who's going to be the coach? Like, which coach am I going to attract to come into this Hornets nest now? That's the ideal question, you know. So am I going to get rid of Greg Berhalter, who can get a result out of this team, and bring in somebody else who is foreign, not necessarily a foreign coach, but foreign to these players who are now fractured? Because we saw it at the end of the World Cup. They are fractured. We were in the group chat. I was laughing. Oh, you have 4 players in the stands with them family. You have 3 players on the field in the center circle. You have some on the sideline. They didn't even want to go in the locker room. So which coach really want to come pick up that mess right now? So that's a question. If I have a coach out there that is proven and said, yes, I want to come in and take over this side, then yeah, obviously when I bring back Greg. But if there's no better option out there in terms of at least a better proven track record, which might not be that too hard to find, but also want to take on this Hornets nest, then we'll have to stick with Greg.
I mean, I think...
At least give Greg the opportunity to come in and fix up and smooth up back everything, and then we'll bring in a big name coach.
No, I would let him go. I mean, and this has a part of the reason why I would let him go is that, look, there were things that the Reynas did that was bad. Definitely, the whole bring up the call to the executives about him kicking his girlfriend, now wife, from 92. I mean, them things are gone too far. It's me idea, right? So it's them, but the whole discussions and these presentations at leadership conferences about things that should be kept private, I thought is not wise of a coach who wants to keep the group united, because every man knows that Gio Reyna you're talking about, and then if you hire back Greg Berhalter to lead, then does he just mend the fence with Gio and said, yo, let's work past this and go for it? Or you just tell Gio Reynas if you go on a yard?
Look, people, the reality is this. Gio Reyna is one injury away from probably being done playing high-level football, right? One thing that he has shown is that he's injury-prone. So all of this cascades over a player who can't even stay healthy, to me, that's why I'm saying they're all at risk of getting washed out the system. If I was to come in as a coach, I'd say, yeah, but hear what? I have 100% autonomy over the team that gets selected. Me don't want to talk to nobody. The only thing I want to talk to you, Mr. President, about is making sure, sir, but dot on my I's and cross on my T's. But anything we have to do with players, it stay in-house with me. And with Reyna now, if I was to take over, Reyna not forward. Reyna done with me. Reyna is the Carlos Vela of America at this point. Unless Reyna go up on this crazy tear and then don't get injured and improve himself. That it would have been made abundantly clear if they had hired me. I'd want nothing to do with you because your family is a cancer and you only have to go prove on allegiance to me. Because guess what? I have better players. And you can't tell me say I'm lying.
And I think for Greg Berhalter, I mean, the minute he got the job, so we talked about this, a few years ago, right? The minute he got the job, there was a camp that already lined up against him, right? Because we looked at his mediocre coaching resume, 39% winning percentage at 2 separate clubs. So from the minute he got the job and the position of his brother in U.S. Soccer Federation, that led to, a group that said Greg Berhalter out. Now, he did well with the team and he won some games. But at the same time, brother, them don't need all this headache. And I think some of this Gio Reyna mess is that the World Cup, you were asked about why didn't you bring Gio Reyna on, and you mentioned something about muscle tightness at the post-match presser. That was not necessary. Just say, yo, you know, it was my decision. Next question. Move on. The muscle tightness now, then Gio Reyna was asked about why, I mean, what's going on with his muscle or something along the, and he says, I'm 100% fine. So you have now a back and forth problem there, because if the player is healthy and the coach is putting out news that the player is not healthy, then a player who's been labeled as glass man and soft soap doesn't want that, because that can affect his total bread. Because at the end of the day, his coach is saying that he's injured or is having injuries in the World Cup, then that affects his chance of going out and dominating and try to, in long term, affect his bottom line of getting more money. So some of them things is self-inflicted. I don't care what US Soccer want to do. I mean, I'll watch and see what they do.
Yeah, there's more to come on that. But BM said the Reynas are like the Butler family in Jamaican football. There comes a time when the constant passa becomes draining. I agree. There's John Davis said, just as join this remind, come on, say Chelsea are garbage. So there's more to come on that story, man. Watch your space.
Watch your space. Watch your space. Football family, first show for the new year. Big up to the family. We're out to go our yard. Big up to everyone as always. More to come on this Greg Berhalter versus US Soccer Federation fiasco. Sporting director Ernie Stewart, friend of Greg Berhalter, might also be on the chopping block. I don't even know. Well, it come like a clean house thing for go on right over. You know.
In black. I'm half white or half black, so I'm good to go. Good to go.
Yo, if you're new to the show, consider joining us next Sunday again, as we do this every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you're new to the show, also subscribe to the channel or consider subscribe. Drop us a line at Ballchat Podcast. We're on social media. If you're new to the show, you can connect with us. You can connect with us at Ballchat1 on Twitter, Ballchat on Facebook. We're on Instagram at Ballchat Podcast. Happy New Year, family. Bless up to all listeners. Respect, one love. Junior, bless up yourself, family.
Little more.